Hey guitar geeks, Guitar Guts back. Today with a solution to a common problem that people run into when they're trying to wire a guitar that's using both single coil pickups and humbucking pickups in the same guitar, like this Ibanez RG. The problem that you run into when you're trying to combine humbuckers and single coil pickups in the same guitar is that both of those pickups require seeing a different tone pot value and volume pot value to sound their best. As a general rule, humbuckers require 500K volume pots and tone pots in order to sound their best. And single coils, as a general rule, need 250K tone pots to sound their best. But on an Ibanez guitar or a similar guitar, you only have one set of volume and tone controls. So it seems impossible to get both of those values at the same time, but it actually isn't. There's a simple little trick that you can use to make the single coil pickup see one value while the humbucker pickup see another value. And that's by including a resistor in the circuit, running from the hot switch lug for the single coil pickup to ground. And what you're doing when you do that is you're running two resistors in parallel. The tone pot being one of them, 500K, and then the resistor that you're including in the circuit as the second resistor. So you're wiring two resistors in parallel. And here's the formula for that. Resistor 1 times resistor 2 divided by resistor 1 plus resistor 2. There's the bare bones formula, and here's how it works. If we have a 500K tone pot or volume pot, that's resistor 1. And if we're using a 500K resistor in parallel, then that works out like this. Comes out to 250K. So by wiring that resistor in parallel with our volume pot, the single coil will see a 250K volume pot. But because the resistor is not wired to the humbucker pickups, they still see the regular 500K volume pot. So both are seeing what they need. Now this is sort of ideal world exact figures. That's usually not how I use mine. For one thing, 500K resistors are kind of hard to come by, and a much more common value is 510K resistor, which will give you almost exactly 250K volume pot for the single coil to see. It's really, really close, and that's much easier to find a 510K resistor than it is an actual 500 to get it exactly perfect. But I don't actually like those values anyway. I like my single coils to be just a little bit brighter, and I think that using the 510 or 500K resistor sort of deadens them a little too much. I like them to have a little bit more brightness to them. So I've been using a 560K resistor, which is what that is. I found a bunch of these very old 560K resistors, and I've been using those, and they sound fantastic in my RGs. That works out to 264K, which is just a little bit brighter than a standard 250K pot. Now, if you wanted a much brighter tone that wasn't over the top like they are when you're not using the resistor trick, you could use a 620K resistor in parallel, which would work out to about a 277K pot. That'll give you a little bit of a brighter tone out of your single coil. And then if you wanted a much warmer tone, if that was way too bright for you, you could drop down to using a 470K resistor in parallel with your volume pot, and that would work out to about 242K would be the value that your single coil is seeing in the volume pot. Now, how to do this, it's actually really simple while you're in there installing your pickups. And let me pop the pick guard off my RG here and let you look inside. While you're in there working around, on the switch itself, which you're looking at right there, what I've done, if you can see here, I've got the 3 hot lugs right here, the 2 reds coming from neck and bridge, and in between them is the hot wire coming in from the neck pickup. And what I've done, I've wired that 560K resistor to the hot lug for my neck pickup alone, and then I've run it over here to the other side of the switch where it's simply going to ground right there. Now, you can also run it to ground down here on the pot. It just so happens that this switch had a very convenient little lug that I could solder to and go to ground right there instead of running all the way down to the pot. And I try to keep it tight in here. If you let this stick out too far, your pick guard might not go back down in the cavity that it's supposed to fit in. So you need to keep this nice and neat and tight when you're soldering that. But that's all there is to it. You're running that resistor from the hot lug on the neck pickup to ground. And that will make your neck pickup see a much lower value than your humbuckers are, and give you the best tone that you can get out of both your humbuckers and your single coils. Well, I hope that's useful to you. I hope you get some better tones out of your single hum guitars. And if you like, leave some comments in the comment section, and feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching.